And welcome back to Central Valley Talk, where we look for interesting people all over the place to bring onto our show. So if you're an interesting person or have an interesting business or you just want to talk and be on our show, you are welcome to do that. And we're looking for you. Our guest today is all the way from Nevada. And I say we're looking for an interesting person. She's interesting. And I missed the name, but I know it's Cowgirl Shaman, right? Terri Jay, right?
Right.
Okay.
Terri Jay.
Welcome to Central Valley Talk. And tell us, what is a Cowgirl Shaman?
Well, I've been a horse person my whole life.
Okay.
And so a cowgirl is a fit name for me and all of the things that I've done with horses my whole life. And a shaman to me is a healer. And I really look at my work as healing work.
Okay, and I was mistaken earlier, Cowgirl Shaman. I thought that meant you dealt with horses. But you deal with horses, animals, people, all kinds of stuff.
Right. I base my abilities in physics. Everything is energy. Everything has a vibration and frequency. And so when I am working with a person or an animal, all I do is tune in and pick up on vibrations and frequencies that other people might miss.
And you don't have to do this in person, right?
No, I do my work all over the world. It's really been fun and really incredible. The numbers and different types of people that I get to meet everywhere. It's really fun.
Now, by the way, you have one of the best internet connections we've ever had. It's like you're sitting in the same room. Usually it's all choppy and everything, but we're happy that you have a good grasp on that. Now, besides, so you feel the energy. Can anybody do this? You said there's people can learn this a little bit, right?
You know, a lot of people think these are gifts, and I don't agree with that. To me, they're abilities that we're all born with. We're all born with intuition, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance. Clair just means clear. So we have clear feeling, clear knowing, clear hearing, and clear seeing. We all have all of those.
Okay.
But we freak out, adults, and turn them off sometime in childhood when we're using them.
Right.
And so it's just a matter of learning to turn them back on. They are not gifts.
Okay. And how did you pick this up? Did it come naturally to you?
Oh, no, I'm the biggest skeptic in the world. I really am. But I was doing horseback therapy with disabled kids, and I picked a child up out of his wheelchair and put him on the back of one of my horses, and he said, ouch, I have a cramp in my hip. So I looked at him and I said, you have a cramp? Well, here, sit this way, and it'll take the cramp out. And he said, hey, you can hear me. And I said, well, of course I can hear you. It didn't dawn on me at the time that he was totally nonverbal.
Wow.
So we went about our business, finishing the lesson. I took him off the horse, put him in his wheelchair, and he went back to class. And the gal that was helping me very sarcastically said, boy, he sure is talking great. And I didn't catch on. And I said, well, you know, he's very bright. Just because he has cerebral palsy doesn't necessarily mean that he has a mental handicap. And she said, Terri, he didn't say a word. He can't, remember? And if I was a horse, I would have done a buck fart snort, because when they're spooked, they do all three of those things at one time. So I went into the classroom, and they put a band around his hand with a pointer, and he had typed out on his computer, horse lady can hear me.
Huh.
So then I could stand there and communicate with him while he was talking completely in his head, and I was talking out loud. And it was really interesting. So I went back outside and shared this information with the volunteer that was helping me, and very matter of fact, she just said, well, if you can hear him, we ought to learn to communicate with the horses, because all animals are telepathic, and then wouldn't that make your program really safe?
Yeah. So it all started with horses. Now,
absolutely.
Who would use your services, or who does use your services?
Well, I have a lot of professional horse people, like professional barrel racers, a lot of professional team ropers, tie-down ropers. I've even done readings on bucking bulls that were not bucking the way they should.
Not bucking right, huh?
And then, of course, I do a lot of backyard horses, people in other modalities such as dressage, English riding, hunter jumpers, pretty much everything in the horse world. But that's not all I do. I actually do a lot of lost pet readings, because I do map dowsing and remote viewing. So I can actually look on a map and pick up the energy of the animal and help the people, guide the people to find the animal.
To say he's somewhere around here, probably, huh?
Well, I actually get smells and sounds and tastes from the area where the animal is. So I'm able to relay all of that. And I'm surprised at the details that come through.
Now, do you ever spend any time helping people learn how to communicate with their animal?
Oh, absolutely. I do have my book, and it's called The Cowgirl Shaman Way, 7 Easy Steps to Develop Your Intuitive Ability. And I've had people take that book, and they are actually now doing the same work that I do for other people and making a living at it. So I'm thrilled when I hear that kind of stuff.
To say anybody could develop these skills, sounds like everybody should read this book.
Well, I would hope so. To me, it can really be helpful, especially when you're dealing with animals and you don't know what's wrong with them, and you're thinking, should I take them to the vet, not take them to the vet? Is this something that I can handle at home or not? So there's all those kinds of questions that we can answer for ourselves sometimes, and then also know when it's important to go to the vet.
I guess a traditional doctor can ask a million questions to his patient and find things out, but animals,
right.
Who can communicate with animals? Well, you can, apparently.
Yeah, it's really an important skill, and I think everybody should learn how to do it. And I think a lot of people have the ability, they're using it, but they doubt it. And so my book can really help them to get that confidence that they need. The biggest thing that I have found is that people miss out because of the timing of things. When we're taught to communicate, we're taught, I talk, I wait, you talk. And animals don't have that. They've never been taught that. So as you're starting to form a mental question, they've already sent you the answer. And it's the same thing if you're talking with people on the other side. If everything happens so quickly, so as you're trying to communicate with somebody on the other side, if you have a long, drawn-out question, you're going to miss their answer because it's going to come over the top of your question.
Let's just take a dog, for example. What kind of things would be communicated? Like, hey, this guy doesn't feed me enough, or he pats me on the head, my head hurts. What kind of things would be communicated?
Just all kinds of things. We took in a dog from an old friend of mine that has become an alcoholic. And it's just a really sad situation. He was emaciated when I picked him up. And the smell of alcohol freaks him out. And he's given me that smell, and he says, I'm scared when I smell that. Because obviously when she was drunk, she was beating him.
Oh, boy.
And she wasn't feeding him or giving him water.
Yeah.
Because then she'd pass out drunk, and he'd need to go outside, and so he was having accidents in the house and not able to wake her up to tell her he needed to go out.
You could tell her he needed to go out, but if she wasn't, now she's not listening. Now,
no, she's not.
We have kind of a side note, we have a guest that comes in a lot, and he has epilepsy, and his dog is trained to know when he's about to have an epileptic seizure. So
right.
The power and ability of dogs, most of us, it's way beyond us.
It's really amazing that I just lost a dog, and it's like I keep thinking I need to communicate to my two that I still have what happened, and they're like, hey, we got it. He was not doing well.
They understood.
I still see him here in spirit form because, we're 99% energy.
Yeah.
So he's still here as an energy form.
Before we went on the air, we were just chatting, and you said something about traditional medicine and what traditional doctors have to work with. Can you restate that?
Oh, sure. We're 99% energy. So why is all of allopathic medicine, which is basically drugs and surgery, why is it all focused on the physical? Why isn't everyone learning and doing energy medicine? People do not want to take responsibility that their stuck negative emotions have caused their disease. It's dis-ease. So a lot of, like autoimmune diseases, look at all the people that suffer so horribly with autoimmune diseases. And that is always caused by self-loathing, self-hatred. It's the body turning on itself. You've given the cells permission for the body to turn on itself.
Tell me this, before we go too long, I meant to ask you this early on, but how do people reach you? Is there a web address? What's the best way?
I'm on Facebook. It's just Terri Jay. And then on my website is terrijay.com, TerriJay.com. And you can get my book, The Cowgirl Shaman Way. You can get that on my website, or you can also get it on Amazon, and it's available there. And you can get it in an ebook too.
Ebooks, okay. Now, and as I was saying, who shouldn't read this book? Everybody should read it. Would open everybody's eyes, I would think.
I would think it would be an incredible benefit. The only negative is that you do get people's thoughts and feelings. And so I don't have an off switch, and I teach an off switch for that reason. I don't have an off switch, and I really don't have a very good filter. So I hear people's thoughts all the time, and there's a lot of stuff I'd really rather never hear.
Too much information.
Yes, exactly.
If you're watching, hey, Father's Day, is it this Sunday?
Yeah.
I wonder if my kids are watching. I'm going to send them a copy of this interview, because they never know what to get the guy who has everything. So
right.
They always get me a book because I love to read. So, and I will read this too. So, Terri Jay. Oh yeah. I mean, we could go on for hours, but they only give us 10 minutes for these interviews. But you talked about some other things, finding water.
Yes, I love to do map dowsing, and I like to teach this too. I've actually been able to find gold on maps. It's really interesting how it happened, and I won't go into the details, but I've been able to find gold and water on maps for people, and it's just been incredible. It's like doing map dowsing, only you don't need the stick. You don't need the stick and walk around.
99% of our viewers have no idea that when you drill a well, you hire a guy with a magic stick or something. He comes out and he tells you where to drill the well. But you do it from all the way from Nevada. You could do that.
I do it all over the world, sure. Wow. It's really fun. It's amazing once you get opened to these abilities, all of the different ways that you can use it.
Well, it's very refreshing to hear you say you're a skeptic. You're the biggest skeptic. And
yes. If it wasn't for physics, I couldn't do this work. But physics, a science, explains how I'm able to do this. We're all like big cell phone towers. How many people have thought of a friend that they haven't heard from in a long time, and all of a sudden the phone rings and it's them? We all do this. So who sent the message?
Right. And so
who sent that? We all do that. So we all have these abilities, and we just need to learn to use them more.
Reading your book would help us learn how to open up those possibilities for ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's fun. It can really be fun.
Well, listen, it's terrijay.com, or go to Facebook and type Terri Jay. You're going to find her, or Cowgirl Shaman.
That's right.
Is that correct? Or call us here at Central Valley Talk. We'll give you her direct contact info. We'll give you the webpage and the Facebook and stuff like that. We're about out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we have to go?
No, just that I love to do readings by phone. I do them all over the world. I've got really reasonable rates. It's only $50 for a half hour, $90 for an hour. So I'm very affordable, and I'm going to always keep my rates that way too.
That's actually very affordable. Now, and they could call you if they've lost their pet, if they need to find where they left their gold, or where their water wells should be drilled, or
relationships, finances, health, pets, everything, pretty much everything.
Yeah. I keep bringing this back to pets, but you work with people a lot.
Oh, yeah. I work with people more than animals now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cowgirl Shaman, Terri Jay, find her on Facebook, get her book. Everybody should read this book, I'm convinced. I haven't even seen the book, and I'm convinced we should all read it. And we want you back again every month or so. Come on back, Terri, and we'd love to talk to you.
Oh, I'd be happy to come. It's really fun to be here.
And also, as I said, because you're the best internet person we've had, you're great, clear picture and sound and everything. We have to take a break, and we'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.